listen, I'm 28, about to turn 29 next month, and I've never dated. I've never had a boyfriend. And when I tell you that I feel like I'm gonna have my one and only, I truly mean it. Like, I feel like I've felt this way my entire life. That's why I've never felt the rush to get into a relationship, or I've never had the huge desire of having a boyfriend or anything like that. Like, truly, I've felt such peace in being single because I've just felt like in my heart that I'm just gonna have my one and only, and that's gonna be it, and it's gonna be so beautiful, such a beautiful story, such a beautiful testimony, and I'm gonna be one of the very lucky and very few girls that has that kind of story of their one and only, even though it's taken me a long time, but it's gonna happen. And again, I feel like I'm very, very lucky because a lot of girls, not sadly, but you know, just like their story, their journey of finding their person has been, you know, a bunch of heartbreak, dating, lots of highs, lots of lows until they find their person. But with me, I'm like, I've just been here riding the wave, just cool, chill, relaxed, and then I'm gonna have my moment of meeting this man that God has for me, and it's gonna be so wonderful. So I feel so fortunate and so lucky to be one of the very few girls that has that kind of story, even though, yes, don't get me wrong, it definitely does get hard at times, and there are very, very random times, honestly, that I feel like discouraged, or I feel slightly sad because it's like, wow, I'm this old. Is there something wrong with me? Like, I've never been in a relationship. I haven't been asked out. There's no cute guy that looks my way. Like, is there something wrong with me? Am I not pretty enough? All these things. But I'm very quick to just like dismiss those feelings because I know in my heart that God has the most incredible, wonderful man out there for me. So I don't even have to worry about that because I'm just gonna meet him, and it's gonna be that like end of story, you know? And that's just how I've been feeling lately. So, you know, if I have to continue to wait a little longer, heck, I've been waiting for 28 years at this point. Like, what's a couple more years now, you know? Like, it's not gonna make any difference. And I truly have loved every single second of being single, and truly I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't been single my entire life, because it's allowed me to grow so much, to heal so much, to grow in my faith most importantly, and to finally get to a point where I feel secure in myself, even though yes, I do have my insecurities. But I feel like I'm at such a good point that also does come with age, but truly I owe it all to God and to growing in my faith and my, you know, my relationship with him, that I feel like I'm finally at a point where I can say I'm ready. And it feels scary to finally say that because it's like, oh, if I say that, it might be happening soon. So those are my thoughts. Anyone else?
An alarming number of modern women are reaching their late 20s and early 30s with absolutely zero relationship experience. While the mainstream media tells them this is a sign of empowerment and high standards, the truth is much darker. They are trapped in a cycle of fictional expectations, avoiding the real world until the loneliness finally breaks through. Let's look at the reality.
We listen and we don't judge. Chronically Single Girl version. I'm 24 years old. I've never had a boyfriend. Ever. I also haven't had my first kiss. I've never held hands with somebody romantically. Can't even really say that I've been on a date because the guy asked to hang out. Like, I don't call that a date. I've never really felt desired in any way before. And that's it. We listen and we don't judge. I feel like when I tell people these things, sometimes I get the feeling that they're kind of like, really? Like, you've never had a boyfriend, you haven't had your first kiss? And I just hate that. I just think that it should be more normalized. I think that a lot of people haven't had boyfriends and haven't had their first kiss. And if you're one of those, you're welcome here and you're safe here. Let me know if you relate. I'm still working on not being embarrassed or ashamed of like never having had a boyfriend and like telling people that. It's really hard not to because I'm just surrounded by people who don't relate. It's hard, but you're not alone.
This message is for the girlies that have never been in a relationship before and yeah, like really long time. So I'm 20 years old, never been in a relationship before, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like I grew up and my dad was literally like, you can't date, don't do that. And so, well, look what that left me. Zero experience, sad, but you know, lacking the experience low-key kind of hurts, but you know, it's fine. And then my mom, she just stood there. She was like, whatever your dad said, like, oh yeah, thanks mom, that helps. But also because where I grew up around, anyways. But like, tell me why, like why parents switch up on their kids when they literally didn't let them date for such a long period of their life. I just don't understand, because now my parents are bothering me and they're like, so you got a boyfriend, or like, are you seeing anyone? Well, I'm awkward as fuck I can't talk to people of the opposite fucking sex as me without being awkward. Like, this is actually sad, but whatever. I come down to just blaming my parents. Like, it might be my fault because I don't push myself out there, but like I'm just blaming my parents because whatever. Like, I love them, but they should just be happy I beat teen pregnancy. Hello?
I've never had a serious dating relationship in my entire life. I wrote this song because it was just like a lot of that frustration of not being able to find that person and just feeling lonely a lot, you know? I moved to my dream city so that I could be free. I became who I wanted to be, but there's no one next to me. How I wish that I was someone with a hand by their side to feel the heartbeat skipping and pounding. Oh, I'm such a lonely girl, just waiting for someone to pick her off her feet. Oh,
I'm 31 and I've never had a boyfriend before. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna stop you right there because I think a lot of the times the initial reaction is that's crazy, that's weird, that's sad, you must be a red flag, you're old. And I don't think any of those things are true. I think we're conditioned to think there's some sort of timeline, and whatever that timeline is, at the end of it, the goal is marriage, the goal is finding a relationship, and honestly, I just think that's a little outdated at this point. I'm not saying that I don't want that at some point, I do, but I think the problem is that the narrative that is pushed is that you are missing something, you're not whole, you're missing out on something if you haven't experienced that. And in my 31 years of life, I've had a pretty great time. So I don't think I'm missing out on anything. I hope that that comes for me someday. I've dated, I've had flings. It's not like I've completely isolated myself. I know there's a lot of growth you can find in being with someone as well. But personally, I feel like I have grown so much and know so much about myself and what I do want in a future partner that I wouldn't have learned if I hadn't been single this long. So I do think there is this like positive side to it as well. But I think it's just different for everyone. And I know I see people online here talking about, oh, I'm 25 and I've never had a boyfriend, and they're freaking out about it. And I just am, here to tell you it's okay. And if you want that, that's great. If you grow from that, that's great. If you don't want that, that's great. If you grow on your own, that's great. So there's really no correct answer. I don't really know where I'm going with this other than live your life, do what you want to do. Don't worry about doing what other people are doing or trying to be on the same timeline as other people. What's right for you is what's right for you, and screw everyone else.
I've never had a boyfriend. I'm 26 years old, and today we are going to talk about some of the struggles that come along with that. While I am very confident in the fact that I've never been in a relationship or had a boyfriend, there are still some factors that make it just a little bit difficult. So I wanted to share that in case anybody else felt the same way. First of all, there is this feeling of just being undesirable and like unworthy for a relationship, that especially if you don't have a boyfriend or relationship in your like very formative years in like high school and like even college, like it's just this feeling that you like can't really shake, and you have to go out of your way to unlearn, and I've really struggled with that. I obviously know deep down that I'm worthy of love and being in a relationship and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes there's the devil on my shoulder that's just kind of like, well, if we're looking at past examples, like, no, you're not, because how come it hasn't happened yet? So it's been a journey to teach myself not to think like that. Then there's the fact of never having been in a relationship kind of makes you very independent, and like while I was growing up, my focus was like school and swimming and friends, and now in this part of my life, I'm very career focused and friends focused. It's like, how do you like cycle a guy in, because I've never had to do it before, so it's like that's another tough thing. Then this might be a little bit more of a personal example, but I really struggle with being vulnerable with my feelings. I have a lot of walls up and my heart is extremely guarded, which I'm working on letting that down. Being open and vulnerable with my feelings scares me a lot, because every time that I have been brave and told a guy how I felt, shared my feelings, it is always gone up in flames for me. It's never just been like, oh no, I just don't feel the same way. It's usually been like, oh, I feel the same way, but we can't work out for XYZ, which in turn has made me feel like there's something wrong with me. And it's just been honestly kind of scarring, and now has made me really scared to open up with my feelings, because I'm like, I don't want to feel that again. And then that has led me into only wanting to keep things casual a lot of the times. You don't have to deal with feelings. And so then it's like this transition of like, how do you jump from casual to like serious? When at the end of the day, I know that's what I want, but it's just really scary to like have to do it. And then transitioning from there, some may say I'm a little scared of love, but I will also say I'm scared of it and being in a relationship because I've never had it before. So it's like, I don't know who I am in a relationship, and that freaks me out. I love who I am now, and I'm like, am I gonna change? Am I gonna be a different person? Or not even that, but I'm also like, I just don't know what to expect. I don't know what's gonna happen. So it just kind of freaks me out a little bit. So that makes me a little scared. So those are kind of my inner struggles that I deal with as someone who's never had a boyfriend. And I just feel like at the end of the day, I know that these struggles make me a tougher person, make me a better person, and it's gonna make my relationships, when the time comes for me to get into them, it's gonna make them even better. Because I've had to learn myself and learn all these kind of things the hard way, and I think that's the best way to learn. So if you resonate with this, I feel for you and I love you.
I'm about to be 29 years old in less than 2 months, and I've never experienced romantic love. I've never been in a long-term relationship, and that's embarrassing as fuck for me to admit. Even more embarrassing, and it feels even more ick to admit, is that I would like to experience that, and I actually wish for it. The longest time, I know that I have put on the facade of ill, love, gross, cringe. If people ask, oh, have you been dating? No, I can't be bothered. It's not that I can't be bothered, I don't know what's stopping me, other than the fact that I live in Florida right now. But I think admitting it out loud though, saying that I've never experienced romantic love, it feels embarrassing because it validates all the shit that my mind tells me about myself. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not good enough. And it sucks because it's like, okay, will I ever experience that? Because everyone around me has. And funny enough, I'm the first one to watch shows like from scratch, One Day, Normal People. I just started this weekend actually. And I will sit there and I will cry with the characters. I will bawl. I will empathetically feel what they're feeling, but I've never felt it a damn day in my life. Twistedly enough, I want to feel that heartbreak because that heartbreak validates that love was real. But I've never even felt that because obviously I've never felt the love romantically. So I questioned, like, will I ever? Will I ever? And the sad part is I watch those shows because I think that's like the closest I'll get probably in this lifetime to experiencing that type of love. How sad is that? It's really weird too, to admit. Cause like, it's also the one thing that keeps me from dating because that just feels like an embarrassing thing to bring up. Oh yeah, actually, how many relationships have we been in? Zero. I've never experienced love actually. It's shitty. But yeah, just a 29-year-old girl who's been single her whole life. And I think I've gotten so comfortable with that it's just this comfortable space, even though it's not the space I want to be in. I do want to experience the love, but you just end up getting so comfortable with what you know that even if you want more, lust for more, long for more, it's like, well, this is how I know my life to be, so whatever.
So I am 30 years old and I've never had a boyfriend. No roster, never been on a dating app, waiting till marriage. And for the longest time I was like, Phoebe, I think you're the only person on earth that's 30 and single, right? That's never had a boyfriend. And recently I've been getting a lot of people on my For You page who are in the same boat. And I'm like, okay, this is encouraging. I think we forget sometimes that people who are single, whether it's in their late 20s or 30s or 40s, it is a decision, it's a choice that we make. I think in the good year of our Lord of 2025, it is easy to be in a relationship. There's so many avenues to be in a relationship. But at the end of the day, when you're putting yourself first and you're putting your standards first and you have non-negotiables, you're going to wait. And the wait is worth it. You know, at the end of the day, have good men approach me? Of course, every good man is not your man. You know, I would hope to think the person that you will be with checks off your biggest non-negotiables. You know, for everyone that's different. For me, he has to be a Christian. You know, I think I'm not the type of person that's like, you know, let me wait it out and see where this takes us, even though he's not a Christian or even though he doesn't check off this biggest non-negotiable. I'm not that type of person. Being single, I think my friends and family view me as this confident Phoebe, this confident single person. I get that all the time from my friends, like, you're so confident in your singleness, which I am confident in my singleness. But there's times I will get FOMO. There's times like Valentine's Day, holidays, I get major FOMO. But at the end of the day, I ground myself and knowing that the worth is worth it, and every good thing takes time. And as a Christian, I believe in God's divine timing. And I don't think you have to be a Christian to even know that everything has timing. And if it's in your heart, if you know that you're meant to be with somebody, it will happen. Singleness is not a destination. It's just a season. And it's a season that will be gone one day. And it's like to just seize the season and know that
every good thing will be in your hands, but like seize where you are right now. I think it's easy to run with somebody else's timeline or look at other people's timeline and be like, oh my gosh, I want that. But there's a blessing. I think there's just this beauty in knowing that what is for you will come in its timing. And I think we don't talk about even the pros of singleness enough, you know? The fact I have no responsibility besides my little munchkin dog. The fact I'm getting up and going to Texas next week to see college friends. And I just have my hobbies and, my dreams and my goals and all these things. And it's like, soon those things will shift into a different thing and my responsibility will be mother and all these things. And I think any day is a good day to put yourself first. Whether you've had hundreds of boyfriends or one or zero, it's a good day to be like, you know what? I'm going to value my heart and I'm going to wait for the person who will value my heart.
Today, as I get ready, I want to tell you guys about why I think I've never been in love. So you guys know, I read a lot of books. I consider myself a hopeless romantic, but at the same time, I've never been in like a real relationship. And a couple of days ago, I started having a serious conversation with one of my guy friends, and he's like, well, what are you waiting for? What are you looking for? Like, you expect too much, basically. And in that moment, I like couldn't get the words out or formulate my thoughts into what I am waiting for, what I'm looking for. Like, my mind just went blank. So naturally, I called my best friend after this conversation, and we started talking about it. And at first, we were talking like, oh, maybe it's the books, like we just have too high expectations. But then I really thought about it, and I do not expect grand gestures. I actually hate attention. I hate PDA. And that's the thing I feel like people think of when they think of rom-coms and romance books, is they think of like these huge public displays of affection and grand gestures to make someone just get swept off their feet. But that's not what I'm expecting, and that's not what I want at all. But the thing I did pick up from romance books that raised my expectations is the quiet, attentive signs of love, which I have never experienced in my life. And the way I figured this out was actually, I have the book. I was reading this book. So one time in passing, she told him she only liked iced coffee. So anytime he would wake up before her in the morning, he would put the hot coffee from his coffee machine in the refrigerator so that when she would wake up, she would have a cup of iced coffee without having to water it down. So simple, so easy, but so thoughtful. Another thing is one time they were going to a barbecue, and without even telling her, like behind her back, this man packed veggie burgers for her because he knows she's vegetarian and that there wasn't gonna be food for her. Like, that's just a sign that he thought ahead, he thought about her, and he cares about her. He cares what she eats. He also found out her dad was deaf and then started learning sign language so that he could communicate with her family. Like, to me, that just sounds like, yeah, that's something someone in a relationship would do, but like, do they in real life? Do they do that? Like, not in my experience. Like, I have never experienced these little acts of someone showing that someone not only listens to what you say, but they like genuinely care about what you say and how you feel. In a selfless way too. Like, they're not gaining anything from that, but they're doing it for how it will make you feel. So yeah, I think I've learned that when I say I have high standards, I'm not talking about some superficial, you have to be the richest, hottest, most successful, best boyfriend in the world. I mean that I want someone who's attentive and thoughtful and actually cares about me and shows they care about me even when I might not notice it. And that sounds like the bare minimum, but it's not, because I know a lot of people have never experienced that. And obviously it's a two-way street, like you treat your partner that way as well. But like I would if I had the chance. But every guy I talk to, it's like, I can just tell that they don't actually care about me or anything I'm saying or how I feel. It's just like, they like me as a person, but they don't care. I feel like I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for anything, actually. Asking for it defeats the whole purpose. So I guess I'll just be single until someone like this comes along. And if they never do, then fine. I guess I'm dying alone. I don't care. I'm not settling for some bum who doesn't care about me.
When you replace real-world human interaction with fictional fantasies, you end up emotionally paralyzed while life passes you by. If you want to see exactly how this toxic mindset plays out when these same women try to date actual men in major cities, click on this video right here. Let's keep it grounded. Aisha,